the part of the interview where we explore your life story.
Mm-hmm.
And that begins at the beginning.
Yeah.
With where were you born?
I was born here in Austin, Texas. A hospital downtown. I can't remember the name of it. But yeah, I was born here in Austin.
An Austin native.
An Austin native, a unicorn, a lot of people call me. There's not a lot of us here.
And what was your family like? What birth order were you?
I am the youngest of 4.
4 kids total. You're the youngest.
I have a brother that's a year and a half older than me, or a year and a few months, Daniel. And then Lizzie is about, I think, 9 years older than me, I think. Please forgive me, Lizzie. And then Deborah, I think, is 13 years older. So my oldest sibling was 13. My mom was 17 when she had her, and then 31 when she had me.
Whoa.
Yeah.
She spread them out.
Yeah, so that's what I was coming into. Like my 2 sisters are kind of close in age, and then me and my brother are much closer in age. Yeah.
And your folks, did they get divorced?
No. And actually, I found out after my dad passed, they actually never got married.
Whoa.
It was common law.
Common law.
Yeah, they just lived together, and they were married because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't get divorced. They never got married.
Yeah. They would say for all intents and purposes they are married or they were married.
Yeah.
And
they would say, this is my husband and my wife.
Yeah, but I don't think they actually ever had a ceremony.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is one of your earliest memories?
I had whenever I hear that question, like this one vision pops into my head. I'm like probably in a diaper and I'm like walking around. There's blue carpet at the house and I'm like playing on the stairs and I walk into my sister or to my parents' bedroom and I'm like really low. So everything's way bigger than it is now. But I remember we had a home phone in there and I think I remember some like red RC car, like some like remote control car around the house. That's the earliest like thing I can really remember, I think.
Yeah.
But it's not really like a formative memory. I don't think there was any like emotion behind it or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any particular story around your birth?
No.
I asked that.
My mom has a story about it.
Yeah. What's your mom's story around your birth?
She was working, I believe, the day that I almost said the day that I passed, the day I was born.
Yeah.
She was working, she was a waitress at Dan's Hamburgers for like 30 years or so. And she went to work, got off, went home, clean house, went to the grocery store. Her water broke at the grocery store. She was like she was having contractions. She went to labor at the grocery store and then went home, took a bath, shaved, had her poop because she didn't want to poop on my head, you know? And then I think while she was getting ready, my dad took the kids to the ice cream store, got some ice cream, came back, picked up my mom, went to the hospital at night and had me that night and was out by 10 a.m. the next day.
Dang, it feels like your mom like scheduled this. Like her water broke at the grocery store and she's like, I still got some other things on my to-do list.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not really sweating this whole birth thing.
Yeah. And I think for my oldest sister, she was 17. She had a epidural, but for Lizzie, my brother Dan and me, she was like a natural childbirth at the hospital. Mm-hmm. She said by the time it was me, it was like she knew what she was doing and it was a lot easier. So I think I was the easiest coming out maybe. But the biggest pain in her ass, though, later in life.
Like, that's your relationship.
Yeah.
It was a pain in your butt.
Yeah, yeah.
Think of like, from a birth order perspective, the last kiddo is like the baby of the family and is like mom's favorite.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, that's the perception of my sisters. But I swear I got it the worst. And like, we've had this debate and like, I don't like having the debate because I think context matters. And like, we all grew up in different households.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately I grew up in the most stable in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
like,
I can't imagine being born to a 17-year-old young lady, you know?
Yeah, and like I won't go into too many of their personal details, but they got their shit together probably like after I was born more than anything, especially my dad. I feel like my mom kind of always had her shit together, but my dad liked to party. And so probably by the time I was like in high school, I think it was when he had his last DWI.
Oh my goodness.
And so I think by then he started getting his shit together.
Your dad had multiple DWIs?
I think maybe 2.
Oh my goodness.
At least 1. I know he had his license taken away and I don't think they take it away on the first one, but I don't know. Yeah.
Goodness.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that.
So what type of environment did you come into? Like when you first have your conscious experience of being a part of a family, what was it like?
My sisters and parents got in a lot of fights. Like they were always yelling and screaming, and they wanted a lot of freedom, and they were not giving it to them because my parents knew what they did with freedom, and I think didn't want them to do the same thing, and so they restricted their freedom. So like as soon as they were like 18 or wherever the legal age to move out was, the day they could, they did. But me and my brother, my earliest memories, like me and my brother were like best friends. Like I grew up with a built-in older brother best friend my whole life, and like to this day, we're still very, very close. But it wasn't always that way because when we got to like middle school, he started to see other brothers bullying their little brothers and started to like model some of that behavior in middle school.
Really?
And it went from like him being my best friend to like now he's my bully. And that like came home with me, and it was like really bad and like heartbreaking in a lot of ways. Because I'm like, why is he so mean to me? We used to get in fights over like, oh, it's my birthday. That means that only I get presents. But then the other brother would get upset. And so like every birthday was like a double birthday. Like if Dan got a Pokemon game, I got a Pokemon game and vice versa. So like every time we had a birthday, it was kind of like we both got a present.
Nice.
But starting in middle school, it was just like rough between him and I. And up until like my sophomore year in high school. And we got into a fight, and I had been wrestling for a year and a half, and I finally like had an upper hand on him.
Whoa.
And we got into a pretty physically violent fight. And after that, he stopped fucking with me.
Because you got the upper hand.
Yeah. And like, it's still, like, I still feel sad about it to this day. Like I wish that it didn't come to that, but it did. And like I didn't have an oppressor living right next to me anymore. After that,
you were like, this ends now.
Yeah.
He was a bully from middle school until high school.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. And I think it's just because like he was trying to fit in, have his place. And like that was like what one of his friends did to his little brothers. And the other kid was a cool kid.
Have y'all talked about it?
A little bit. I think my judgment is that my brother's avoidant of it anytime I try to bring it up. Or like he doesn't like to think about it or like dwell on the past. I've tried to apologize years ago for it, maybe 10 years ago, but we might be in a place we could bring it up again soon. Yeah, it's definitely worth diving into.
Yeah. So it was memorable for you. It had a big impact on you, and I imagine it had a big impact on him.
Yeah, and like I don't know what it was really like for him, but I know like him and my dad had a pretty bad relationship around the same time. And so like my story about it now is like my dad had power over him, and so he had power over me. And then I removed that power that he had over me, and then my dad had power over him, and they just did not have a good relationship until after my brother moved out of the house.
What was not a good relationship like?
Just like getting like yelling at each other, low blows, like getting into really bad fights, and then like saying shit you should never say to your son or your dad, and just like really horrible things, you know.
Ugh.
And like I don't think my dad wasn't, I wouldn't say he wasn't physically violent towards us. Like we got spanked, you know, but like he tried to not be with my brother, but my brother would like egg him on. And I remember one time like he had like wrestled my brother to the ground, and me and my mom were like, stop, like y'all need to stop. And then like my dad's like looking away to like talk to us, and my brother just sucker punches him in the face.
In the face?
Like just a boom. And I think that was the last time my brother hit him. It escalated a little bit after that, and like we ended up getting them separated and stuff. But yeah, I think that like that's a good like snapshot of their relationship. Yeah. And people would always ask my dad, like, why is Sam your favorite son? And he would say jokingly, because he's the only one that ever hit me. Whoa. So like me and my dad had it a little bit better. And I feel like I had it worse with my mom. Like we had more of like a screaming matches at each other growing up.
Hearing the narrative of your older sisters fighting with your parents, and then your brother fighting with your dad, and then you fighting with your mom, I get a view of kind of a chaotic home.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's safe to say. And like, I feel like part of me feels sad sharing any of this information, but at the same time, like part of my psychedelic awakening, or part of the work I did on psychedelics, was like finding humanity in my parents. And like seeing them as not mom and dad, but John and Lori, and John and Lori did a really good job.
Empathy and compassion.
As humans, they did such a good job given their circumstances. Like, I'm very surprised they did as well as they did given their circumstances.
You do the best you can.
Yeah. And, you know, as a son or as like someone younger in that position, I felt like I was really a victim to them, but I think they were really the victims of their own circumstances, and it played out how it played out. And since then, I think I've gotten a lot of forgiveness for both of them, or gained a lot of forgiveness, and my relationship with them is better now than ever.
So you kind of reformed or reframed your childhood through your experiences.
Yeah. I think that there was one mushroom trip in particular that I thought about my mother. And this was when my dad was still alive. And it was like right before Mother's Day, because I remember like really like getting the transmission that like she is a human. She's not just my mom. She's a daughter. She's a, you know, an aunt. She's a, you know, all these things. She's not just one title. She's a human with many. And I think that experience, like really humanizing her, I just like felt so sad for how hard I've been on her. And I wrote her like a Mother's Day card that year that like I cried while I was writing it. It was so heartfelt. And I remember giving it to her and she was about to open it. And I was like, oh, no. Like, I know you're probably going to cry when you read it. So I'm going to give you some time. Like, you read it after I leave. And, you know, she texted me saying, thank you. And it was just like words that meant a lot to her. And I'd like to thank mushrooms for that.
Yeah. Goodness. What do you remember how you defined yourself as a child? Did you think of yourself any particular way? Examples could be like a good kid or a bad kid or a theater kid or a football kid. Like, did you have an idea of who you were?
Yeah, I was a misunderstood kid.
A misunderstood kid. How?
Yeah. I think around like 4th grade, I was diagnosed with like OCD, ADHD, and a form of Tourette syndrome called PANDAS. I think I was misunderstood before like the diagnosis. Like, I would get into a lot of trouble in middle school or elementary school into middle school. I was suspended from school. I was sent home from school. I went to the principal's office a lot. And it was mostly because I would finish all of my work in record time and then I'd want to socialize. And so being at school was like a social place for me. And then like I kept on getting in trouble and I was distracted in the classroom and there was something wrong with me according to the teachers. So they recommended that I go see a neurologist, see if there's some medication I could be put on. And because I had a form of Tourette syndrome, they don't give those kinds of kids stimulants like amphetamine, like Adderall.
Ritalin or Adderall, yeah.
And so they gave me like a norepinephrine reuptake inhibitor called Strattera, which is a very different kind of ADHD medication than I think most kids got. But it had a similar effect. Like, I was more dull. I couldn't sleep at night. It really just made me exhausted and wasn't very good for me. I took it for a few years. The teacher said, oh, he's so much better, you know.
Just tranquilize this kid so he fits into school.
Yeah, and then like I didn't take it. I took it a little bit in middle school, I think, and then off, and then again in high school because I started getting reports from my teachers that I was distracting kids and stuff. And I think at the end of the day, like, it just wasn't a good environment for me to be in. And it was, my behavior was a sign that I was in a bad environment for myself. And so I acted out in ways that expressed that. And that's not okay with the system. And it's disruptive to other people. And so they medicated me. And yeah, so I would say I was misunderstood a lot of the time. Like, I was just a really deeply curious child. Really curious.
And social.
Yeah.
And probably really smart enough to get you. The desire to socialize probably drew you to do the work quickly.
Yeah, I want to get this done as fast as possible.
The part of this whole thing that you love is the social part.
Yeah.
And so let's get done with all this work so we can be social again. And everybody probably takes different times to do the work.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is, the thing that informs folks' success in life oftentimes is their intelligence around social things, skills, socializing. Their social and emotional intelligence can be a indicator of success at times more so than intellectual intelligence.
Yeah, and I think so at an early age, I internalized the idea that how I acted socially wasn't okay. Like the top down, the authority came top down and just really told me like the way that I socialize, the way I interact, the way I am is not okay and I need to change it. And I think into my early adulthood, I started to have a lot of social anxiety.
You and I resonate there. I was put on Ritalin when I was young, and I had a very similar situation where I'd do everything really quick, and I was disruptive to classrooms, would go to the principal's office all the time. They put me in a special ed in order to manage me in elementary school, and then, was just, I don't think it was a great environment for me.
Mm-hmm. Same.
The school system wasn't designed for all types of kids, and it wasn't designed for my type.
Yeah, and I think it was easier for my parents to just put me on a medication than it was to actually address the root of the problem, because John and Lori had so much going on.
Right.
And they're barely treading water. And it's like, okay, I just listen to the experts, they're saying to do this, and like that's the authority. They work for the state or the city, like they know what they're doing.
And what other option was there? Was there like a school that would be great, that would be, even now, I've got kiddos that have these expressions, and the options aren't numerous. Like,
No, and they're expensive.
And they're expensive.
Yeah.
It's private schools.
Yeah.
You don't have like we accept all kinds school that's public. AISD, if you're listening to me, do a couple schools that are just for these kids. Like, why don't we have diversity of academic environments to meet the diversity of the types of kids that are out there?
Yeah.
So that all of them aren't meant to fit into this one system or structure, so that we place people where they work the best.
And for whatever reason, it seems like there's more and more of these types of kids.
Yeah. Well, you can watch the interview I did with James Ochoa, the ADHD Pathfinder, who he talks about technology and the way things are changing, creating shorter focus and impacting folks in different ways. Yeah. But I want to bring the attention back to you and your life story. We've heard a narrative of, being a kiddo, misunderstood, being prescribed medications that, made you docile or maybe a zombie or tired, not sleeping.
Yeah.
In a family where the parents were stressed to the max, trying to figure things out, doing the best they can.
Yeah.
I think we both want to do that. We're both going to do that. Give them compassion and empathy, not put them down or demonize or make them wrong for it, but to also acknowledge the system or the environment that was present when you were growing up. And it was stressful probably for everybody.
Yeah.
Scarcity maybe of resources.
Scarcity of attention, quality attention.
Quality attention.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that this is kind of a good segue to when I first started using psychedelics and why I was using them and the effects they had. I feel like it was around that time in high school I started to have more awareness of myself in other groups and stuff. I started wrestling. I was working at the family hamburger restaurant with people that were older than me. I was like a part of all these other groups with older people. And so I started to I think mature a little bit more and start to realize how I could play in these social groups better and be accepted. And I think that doing psychedelics started to give me the capacity of it started awakening that part of me that was really curious and that part of me that was really creative. And I think that the psychedelic experiences really reminded me who I was underneath it all, underneath all the trauma, all the chaos I grew up in. And it gave me a way to see a better sense of myself in the world and a deeper sense of okayness in who I am. And so then as I started to grow older and go to other social contexts, I feel like I started to have better insight on how to behave and not behave to get the more desired results.
maybe did it increase your social awareness, or how did it?
Empathy.
How did it brought that?
Yeah, empathy of other. Yeah.
Empathy.
Yeah, and also empathy for myself. Like understanding that I'm a human and I did the best I did with the situation I had, but also empathy for others and like not making it about me as much and what I did, but more about why did they react the way they did. Yeah. Does it make sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I remember hearing you say that you had a lot of social anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
How does that play into this? When did that start to develop?
Yeah, I feel like I'm having insights about it right now, which is beautiful. Thank you for this time to explore this. I feel happy. I remember one time in particular, I was probably 19 years old and I went to a show, like a music venue. And I didn't know anyone there, but I really liked this one artist. And so I went there. It was actually at a furniture store. I think it was, the Far Out Lounge. Have you been there?
I've heard of it.
So before it was there, and I could be getting this wrong, but I remember there was a South by Southwest show inside of a furniture store. It was really cool. This is like such a 2015 thing, but it was just like some random party at a furniture shop. And I remember sitting down, like somebody sits down, like I'm sitting in a recliner like this, and someone sits down next to me and they just start talking to me and I didn't know who they were. And I just remember starting to sweat and like my whole body heating up. And I remember them talking to me and I just like wouldn't stop talking at them. And I just like, the anxiety just started building. And like, as soon as like I got out of that situation and I'm just like, what just happened? Like I was just freaking, like, I don't know exactly. I didn't know what it was at the time, but I think that it was that like, I felt really safe in places that I knew people. And where I got to see everything kind of come together. And I showed up to this party, music's blasting. I don't know anybody. I'm young. People are drinking alcohol. I can't because I'm underage. I just felt like out of place and I didn't know anyone. And I didn't have like an anchor. I couldn't anchor into anything. And I still have a lot of social anxiety, but I think I have tools on how to like deal with it better.
So when you go into a foreign community where you don't know a lot of people, what does the social anxiety look like? I mean, you just shared if someone comes up and talks to you, you get hot, you're sweating, you want to get out of there.
Yeah.
But what is it like? What is it?
I think I'm so afraid that that they're not going to understand me or they're going to misunderstand who I am. Yeah.
So that identity that you had as a child has continued, that you'll be misunderstood.
And then for some reason they won't like me. And like for some reason I have this desire for everybody to fucking love me. Like me.
Oh, you want everyone to like you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just you too. That's sarcasm.
Yeah, just me. I'm the only one who wants this.
Wants everybody to like you.
Yeah, I guess I'm like afraid if they don't, like that I'll be mistreated.
What'll happen if you'll be mistreated, and then what'll happen?
Somewhere along the lines, like the bottom of this is I die. I don't know.
Well, we all die. So we can go ahead and go one level up. We'll all die. I think it's like what'll happen around your death.
Yeah, like
You'll be lonely.
I won't be like I'll be ostracized.
Yeah,
and like I won't be selected for a group, and like somewhere along the lines, it's like I will be lonely, and I will die alone.
Part of my ADHD history, awareness, memory is being ostracized from groups, being, kicked off of sports teams, fired from jobs, just groups saying no thank you to whatever it is I'm bringing to them. Did you have that type of experience?
Yeah. Like I was in the band in middle school and I remember like I didn't practice at all for our chair test and I'm playing percussion. And we did our chair test my 8th grade year and I don't even think I made a chair. I did so bad. And I was so devastated that I quit band. And like my 7th grade year, same year actually, I played football 7th grade and I did such a good job. I played like left tackle or something. And I swear I got so many sacks that year. I like recovered fumble. I did everything that a good football player should do. And I still made the B team the next year. And so I quit football. I was like, well, fuck this group. Fuck
So
this
you
group.
felt like you weren't getting kicked out of groups. They were just putting you in the kind of lower.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I was being seen, like, or understood, or like they didn't see my actual capacity. And like for band, it totally makes sense. Like I didn't practice. I wasn't good. They ranked us in how good we were, right?
Yeah.
But those are both two instances around the same year that like I quit because I wasn't a part of the better, bigger group.
You weren't moving and excelling.
Yeah. And like I wasn't picked for the premier group.
For the premier group.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably would have been devastating if I didn't make the varsity team on wrestling. I don't know if I would have stuck
But you
around,
did.
But I did, yeah. Which may have just been happenstance because of my weight and age. But I did. And I ended up becoming the like team captain on the wrestling team. And I went to the state wrestling tournament.
Yeah.
And I think I liked wrestling because it didn't matter how people judged you based on like, is he good at taking people down? Or like, is he a good tackle? Or can he play the drums right? Like at the end of the day, it's like, did you go out there and did you win? Did you win the match that mattered? And so it kind of like made me empowered to be the one who was like, well, if I'm going to be as good as I say, then I actually have to be that good.
And it's solo. It's a solo.
Yeah. You get out there and it's just you and the other team.
It's you and the other
guy.
guy.
Yeah. And so I think I liked it because I had more control about being picked. Like I would be picked if I was the best, not based on my social standing in the group. It was based more on, my skill.
Your individual performance.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I have a similar story around like not being picked or like being picked last or not being
I remember you
included.
saying when they were picking, you were on the track and they were picking the people and people didn't recognize your performance and your ability to play well.
Yeah.
They're picking people based on social bonds, which I'd have to deductively reason that you didn't think you had great social bonds with folks.
Or no, what was fucked up was I did think I had good social bonds. I thought I was best friends with the people who didn't pick me.
So then how did you make sense of this? If you're close friends with everybody and you're a high performing person in the group, why are you being picked last? Like what was your...
There was some they didn't like me for some reason. Was it my last name? You know, could it have been that my last name is Junk? And they made fun of that a lot.
They did.
Yeah.
What'd they say?
I mean, they would laugh at it. There wasn't that many names that they would call me, but they would just laugh at my last name. But I don't know. Like there were so many things I think I could have attributed it to. But at the end of the day, like sometimes I thought it was because I didn't perform well enough. And so I just trained harder. But sometimes it was because I wasn't friends with the right people. And so I just tried to be friends with everybody. I really wanted to be on everyone's good side. I wanted to be picked. I wanted to be able to be picked by anyone for anything. You know, like I wanted them to know that they'd have a better team if Sam Junk was on the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you do anything other than psychedelics to improve the social anxiety? Or what kind of things did you do to improve it or to understand it better?
I feel like I had a lot of I built social capital. Like I had parents who like, they didn't want me going out a lot, but that meant that my parents would let people come over to the house. And so I think I had a lot of social standing because people could come to my house and we could smoke weed and hang out late and play video games. And my parents were kind of hands off. So that was one thing I kind of did. Like I was really generous to people, like very generous. Like I bought people's food. I bought people's gas. I bought the drugs. Like I was like, everyone knew that if you were hanging out with Sam, he was going to take care of things. We were going to have a good time. And so I think I also like worked at the family business and like use that money to like persuade people to like want to hang out with me or to like have that add to the equation. Yeah, I think I did that.
Do you still do that?
I think so in some ways. I mean, like, but now I'm like more okay with it. Now I'm like it doesn't seem like shadow. It's like, I love taking people to Dan's Hamburgers because like I like eating there.
Dan's Hamburgers are good.
And it's good. Yeah. and it's my family's restaurant, so I get it for free, and like I think it's cool, and like I want, like, some people aren't ever going to have that experience of like being able to go to a restaurant and get something for free. And like I think it's really fun to like take people and have that experience and eat a good hamburger. And
Great hamburger.
yeah, damn good hamburger. Yeah. And so like sometimes that's part of the thing I do is like I want to give people fun things to do.
Yeah.
And so it's like, hey, do you want to come to dance with me? Hey, do you want to be a part of a men's group? Hey, do you want to go to this really cool show and do drugs with me? Hey, do you want to go to Dan's Hamburgers and eat for free? Like I'm always trying to like enroll people in fun things.
In that, is there, I'm not enough. It's the things that I'm inviting you on is the thing. Or earlier on, you said you know your shadows. So I'm like, is that the shadow that you're talking about? Because obviously, like, let's do a fun thing without the shadow is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
But if there's this underlying, they won't do it unless I bait the hook, or they won't do it unless I put this stuff on it that makes it worth.
Yeah, I don't think I do those things for the same reasons anymore. I don't think I take people to dance because I want them to think I'm cool. Like I do it because it's fun and like it will be cool. Like I don't need them to like it, or like, I don't know. I think it seems like it's less of a shadow now because I'm doing it consciously. Like when I was in high school, I was not really honest with myself about why I was doing it. And I think I do it for different reasons now. Like back then it was more of like, I give you free food and you give me a car ride somewhere. It was like more transactional. Yeah. And I don't think it's not like I don't say like, hey Phil, like, will you have me on the podcast and like I'll take you out to eat? You know, it's like it doesn't feel transactional anymore, you know.
But there is a Dan's Burger right down the street.
There is, yeah. We could go after if you want. You just have to bump my podcast to, it has to air sooner.
It has to air sooner. Dang, transaction.
I just had one 2 nights ago with Brave.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, double meat cheeseburger.
Where does your life go from here? So we've been in the incubator, you with your family, you know, kind of a little bit of chaos, obviously from the experienced place you are now, empathy, compassion for them, doing the best they could, but zoom back into there. You graduate from high school, you what happens? Where do you go? How does it all work?
All right. I feel really excited about this part because I feel like I had a lot more of a say in what happened, like a lot more agency once I was 18. First, I went to ACC. I went to community college.
Did you move out of the house immediately, like your sisters and your brother?
No,
like I'm out as soon as I'm 18.
No, I knew that I would save more money if I stayed home. And so really like the best thing I had going for myself was that I got pretty good at doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. When I was like 16, I started doing it to supplement my wrestling training. Like during the off season, I would do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and I was doing really good. Like I would win tournaments and I just got my blue belt and started doing really well for my age group and for my size. Well, actually, once I was 18, I was wrestling with adults. Anyone who was in the same belt and weight division are grouped together. So I'd be wrestling with 40-year-old men and submitting them and like having a really good time being a small dude weighing like 135 pounds. And like even at the gym, I could submit people that were sometimes 80, 90 pounds heavier than me. Whoa. I was pretty good. Like that was the best thing I had going for me. But I smoked a lot of pot and I was going to school and I quickly realized I didn't have any aim or desire to go to ACC. Like my first semester, I got 4 Bs. And then the next semester, I got a D and an F. Like I just took 2 classes and I couldn't even pass those.
What were you studying?
I think that the original thing I had listed on my degree was anthropology, what I ended up getting my degree in. But I didn't know why. I just picked a thing because it sounded cool. And I took some classes, got some Bs, got a D and an F, and decided this isn't for me. And my parents were like, well, you have to do something. So I enrolled in massage therapy school. And I went to the Lauderstein and Conway School of Massage. I dropped out of high school, or I dropped out of ACC. Like I didn't enroll the next semester. And I entered a year-long program to become a massage therapist. And then I had probably the biggest life-changing event of my life. I was hanging out with some friends in their backyard, having a good time, smoking copious amounts of weed. And I was climbing the tree in their backyard. And I slipped and I fell 20 feet.
Ooh,
and landed on
20 feet
yeah. And like I've measured it. Like we dropped a tape measure from the branch. Like I fell 20 feet onto my ass.
on your ass.
And so I had and my spine compressed, and then I had a compression fracture on T7, 8, and 10. So basically like around my shoulder blades. So my spine compressed so much that like the vertebrae like midway up cracked.
Oh my goodness.
And yeah, I remember like going unconscious because I couldn't breathe. And my friend like catching me and gently putting me on the ground. And
What do you mean catching you?
so I fell out of the tree, and then as soon as I fell, I stood up because I'm in shock, and I'm like walking around.
You want to be like, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was not.
You were not okay.
And I started gasping and realized I couldn't breathe. Like it felt like my lungs, like I couldn't suck in air. It's like, and then my friend like catches me, lays me down on the ground. And then like I went on a journey. I like had this like psychedelic experience where I felt like I went into this other realm, into this like primordial blackness.
In the backyard.
In the backyard. Yeah. I hit the ground, he catches me, I fall, and my consciousness leaves my body. And I experienced this like primordial soup, basically. It felt
Is
like.
this an NDE?
Yeah, NDE, near death experience. And I don't remember a lot, but I remember it being very. It was like, the sense was that I was like maybe in like Bardo, like in the in-between or something. Like I hadn't gone anywhere really, but I remember kind of looking around and like, wasn't even sure if I had a body, but I remember seeing like a light and I start moving towards the light, kind of like the classic, you see the light, you know, into the tunnel. So I'm like moving towards it. And then like, as I'm coming through, it was almost like this rainbow tunnel. It's hard to kind of describe, but there was light at the end of it. And I'm like moving towards it. And as I'm coming to the end of it and like the light is bright, it felt like I was really struggling to come through. And it felt like I was almost like going through like a birth canal. And then all of a sudden it was like my consciousness like hit my body. My friend knew that like he wasn't gonna like get me to the hospital in time, or the ambulance wouldn't get there. If I'm not breathing, I'm gonna die before things happen. And so he intuitively, he picked me up, he threw me over his shoulder, and he hit me in the back. And like when he hit me, it was like the visual I have is like seeing myself in third person, and like my soul is attached to his hand. And when he hits me in the back, it was like my soul went back into my body. And I took a deep breath. And like I've seen a baby be born before, and it reminded me of that first breath. Like I'm just like, like trying to breathe out of a straw. And eventually I got my breathing right, and I went to the hospital, and like they're like, yeah, we can't really do anything for you. You didn't break anything, and like just come for a follow-up in 6 to 12 weeks. Like it's just a compound fracture. It's nothing's broken. And like I could barely walk out of the hospital that day.
Really? And they're like, we can't do anything for you.
They gave me the option for morphine, but I refused it at the hospital. I was like, I want to know how bad this is. I want to know how much pain I'm going to be in. I don't want to not feel what this is like. Like I fucked up. I need to know how bad this is. Like I need to know if I'm going to be able to walk. So like I remember going home that night, getting in the car, my mom taking me home, and just like struggling, crying, getting out of the car. My bedroom was upstairs. I had to walk upstairs. And then it wasn't so bad then, but I remember waking up in the middle of the night to go pee, and I could barely get out of bed. I'm like literally screaming, just getting up. And I remember like sitting down on the toilet was so painful. And like, I think I went back, like I cried getting myself up off the toilet. And as soon as I got to my room, I took the hydrocodone they gave me. I'm like, yep, I know how bad it is. It's going to be rough.
Yeah, you found it out.
Yeah. So I took it for a couple of days, and then I started like weaning off of those and started taking edibles. And yeah, I wasn't sure if my life would ever return to normal again. Like I had a lot of chronic back pain. I finished my massage school internship like 6 months after that, but I decided not to get licensed because my body hurt so bad. There's no way I could do that. And so I went from like, I was living at my parents' house. I was barely working at Dan's Hamburgers. I was smoking a lot of weed, but I had this like wake up call when I died. I was like, this isn't what I want to fucking do. And so I started working and saving money, and decided I wanted to go travel the world. And I met my friend Mick, shortly, like 2 weeks after I hurt my back. And he was like really into alternative stuff and like fruit and veganism and all these things. And I didn't have a sense of identity because my sense of identity was doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I could not do it anymore. Like that's what I had going for me, was like I was really fucking good at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And like the best person in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in the world right now, Gordon Ryan, is the same age as me. And like, had I not stopped, would I be that good? I have stories like that. But like, yeah, like that was the best thing I had going for me. And that was not an option anymore. So I had to reevaluate what I wanted to do. And so I started traveling, and the first place I traveled to was Jamaica. I was 19 years old. Me and my best friend got a backpack and a hammock, and we stayed there for a little over 2 months. And it was the most humbling thing I'd ever experienced.
You went to Jamaica and with a backpack and a hammock?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. At 19 years old, during an election year, which is not a very good time to be there.
A Jamaican election year?
Yeah. They were voting in for a new prime minister.
When there's a lot of like turmoil or like a lot of...
and they have a similar system to the United States, where it's like red wins one time, blue wins. It's just like back and forth. I think they have like the People's Party and the Workers' Party, and you're like, isn't that the same thing? And it's like, no, when they just undo each other's policy back and forth. And while we were there, the other party another prime minister got elected. A lot of people died in the country, and we're just like in a small village in like the foothills of the Blue Mountains.
What were y'all doing there?
We were just eating fruit. We went there to go eat tropical fruit and to see what it's like living in the tropics, because we were vegan and like trying to just eat fruit and be like fruitarian. And so we went there to eat good fruit, and they have it, and it's cheap and it's fun, but it's scary. And I'm very glad that we got picked up by the people we got picked up by. We got picked up by a Rastafarian man named Skadu, and he introduced us. He sees us when we get off the bus. We go to this small city, and he's like, "Y'all looking for a place to stay?" And like, that's kind of like their business, is like tourists get off the bus and they ask them if they need a place to stay, and they hook them up and they get some money. But we're like, "Oh yeah, we're looking for a place to stay." He's like, "How much do you want to spend?" And we kind of look at each other. We're like, "Nothing. Like, we have hammocks. We just need a place to put our hammocks." He's like, "Okay, I'll introduce you to someone." And he takes us in a taxi up this, like the side of this mountain. We get out of the taxi, we go to this river, we get into a bamboo raft, and he takes us across the river to this tiny village. And it's like up Port Antonio, and then we went up the mountains to this tiny village called Berrydale. We had to take the bamboo raft across the river, and then we get to this like basically cinder block hut with like you know, a little bit of scaffold, or like a little bit of like beams, but then just like tin roof. And they're like stealing the electricity from the grid when the inspectors aren't there. It's like very, very, very poor. And I had never, like, I thought I grew up like, I didn't think I grew up poor, but I knew that I was like middle class, or like somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. But like, I actually got to experience what poverty was really like, and like what people were making, like what they were doing with what they had. And it was so humbling and beautiful. And I got to eat some really good food and amazing fruit. So many coconuts and sugarcane and bananas and papayas and soursop and just some really delicious stuff, mangoes. That was the first place I went. And eventually we ran out of money and we went back home. And then me and Mick decided we're going to save up as much money as we can. We're going to go move to the tropics, move somewhere else. And so I decided to move to Hawaii like 2 years later.
And you did?
Yeah. I moved there with my partner, Liv, at the time. And yeah, we went there with like Airbnb for 10 days. And we're like, we're going to figure it out in 10 days, like where we're going to stay next. And we did. We found a work trade agreement. Eventually, I met my best friends, Alvin Alohi and their son, Iolani. And they became my family away from home. And I lived with them at their other property. They had two, one in Orchid Land, one in Leilani Estates. And then towards the end of the trip there, the volcano started, or like the end of my time there, Liv and I had broken up. I fell in love with an Australian woman. I wanted to go visit her in Australia. And the timing just happened to work out where like the volcano started erupting. And my mom called and was like, "You need to leave the island." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" She's like, "Have you not seen the news?" I'm like, "No, I'm living off grid in a cabin. I don't read the news." She's like, "There've been earthquakes and like the volcano's going to erupt." And I'm like, whatever. It's whatever. She's like, "I'll fly you back to Austin." I'm like, "I don't want to go to Austin. I'm saving up money to go see my girlfriend in Australia." And like I was saving good money and I was working a good job and living the best life I ever had at the time. And she was like, well, what if I just flew you to Australia? I just want you to get out of the island. You're my baby boy. I don't want you to be on the island.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, let me call you back. And then I like hung up the phone and I thought about it for like 10 seconds. I was like, I could go to Australia today. And I started packing my bags. I called her 30 minutes later. I'm like, buy me the soonest flight out of here.
Yeah.
And I drove my car over to Alva and Alohi's house. And on the way over there, I see the government putting a plate over a crack in the road. I'm like, that's not good. So I go to their house in Leilani Estates and like they're starting to evacuate because there's about to be a fissure opening up in their neighborhood.
Whoa.
And so I gave them the keys and title to my car and said, this is y'all's, do whatever you need to with it. And they used my Trailblazer and their little Nissan and another truck to like start evacuating all their stuff. And 2 weeks later, they lost their home that they lived in for 15 years.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And you went to Australia.
And I went to, it happened while I was in Australia.
We're coming to the end of time, and I want to know, so there was the misunderstood kid, and then the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu kind of warrior and proficiency, and then this big event that occurred with your back, and then this traveling man.
Yeah.
And then I wonder where you are now, like what's your vision with the world? I know you went to San Marcos, to Texas State, and did the anthropology and...
Yeah, I think I could sum up how I got there and where I am now quickly. Yeah. So I came back from that trip, failed, no girlfriend, no car, no money, and I was back in Austin with nothing. I was living at my parents' house again, and I felt like I really hit rock bottom. Like I moved back to Austin. My fiance, my Australian girlfriend, was now fiance. We were going to get married so she could immigrate to the United States and we could live in Hawaii. I moved to Austin, and 2 weeks in, she's like, I can't do it. It's too big of a commitment. I'm sorry. Devastated.
Yeah.
Because I would have went back to Hawaii instead of Austin, but I went back to Austin because I could get a better job on paper. And my dad said he would sponsor the tax form. So you can get anyone to sign, like anyone in your family to sign the tax form saying, like, basically citing my dad's income as a way of immigrating her to the States. And so that's why I moved back to Austin. That didn't work out. But now I'm at zero, like no money, no car, no girlfriend.
And you're in Austin. You're not even in the place where you wanted to be.
Where my car is, where my family, like my chosen family was. And yeah, I think I just had to like take a good hard look at my life. And that's when I met Brave and started getting some coaching. And I feel like my masculinity started turning on. I felt like I had more boundaries for the first time and like could hold them. And I wanted to create something that gave me structure and like a way that I could commit to doing something big and prove to myself I could do something hard. And college happened to be the thing that I chose. So I started going to ACC, transferred to Texas State, joined the honors program because I wanted to do something fucking hard, something that was challenging. So I had to learn how to write. I didn't write but one essay in high school. I'd only written a couple essays in my life. So I learned how to write in college 3-4 years ago. And I got a voice, like I learned how to write, and I learned that I can commit to doing something that might take 5 years to finish.
Yeah.
And I can do that.
Long-term goals.
Yeah. And so like people ask me, oh, what was your degree? And it was anthropology. I learned a lot about archaeology, Native American beliefs, ethnobotany.
You sat down and did some flint napping, I'm sure.
Yeah, I did a little bit. We brought a flint napper for a event for the archaeology club. Like I learned a lot of cool things, and I learned how to like grow community and do research and like how to read and write and take notes and summarize and all of that. But more than anything, I taught myself that I can pick a goal that's 5 years out and I can stick to it and do it even when it's hard and even when I don't fucking want to at the end. I did not want to finish that thesis. I wish I could have picked something else, but it would have taken me another year to graduate because I didn't qualify for another minor because I chose honor studies. And so I kind of put myself in this position where I had to finish that thesis. I had to do the hardest thing I'd ever done.
And that really, the hardest thing you have to do is the thing you don't want to do.
Yeah. And that was finish that thesis.
Yeah.
And I met two really great professors, Dr. Carter, shout out to Dr. Carter, and Dr. Riley, who passed away last week.
R.I.P. Dr. Riley.
Yeah, Dr. Riley. And those two men really helped me see my potential and challenged me and really, 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 truly challenged me and got me to think harder and better about life and any problem I come across. And yeah, like I said, more than anything, I learned that I could do anything. And so I graduated. Before my dad passed away, he we were talking about me graduating college, and I was like, well, what do you think about me, working in the restaurant industry? And he was like, son, I work there so you don't have to. Please don't do that. And so after I graduated, I told my boss at the coffee shop, I can't work in food service anymore. Like I made a pact with my dad that I would not. And so I quit my job, 2 weeks notice, no plans in sight. And I found myself working in radio. And I found myself helping as a promotions coordinator with events. And it was really fun. I love being in events. I love being at festivals and like helping.
Social, yeah.
Yeah, it's so much fun. But it was only part-time and it paid okay, but there wasn't enough work for me to make the bills. And I really liked the company that I was at. And like the people there are great. And there's like a lot of expertise and like fun and like real humans there. And a lot of the people have been there for over 10, 15 years, some 20 years.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is a place I want to be at. So I took a job not getting paid very much to work at this place that I found out that was a really great place to work. And so I found a way to make it work. And I applied to be on the sales team, which I had zero qualifications for on paper, really, other than like I have a college degree
and social.
And I'm social.
Yeah.
And I went through like 4 or 5 interviews, took like 4 months of interviewing. But eventually they offered me the job. And now I'm like 4 months into a sales role at an amazing company with a great boss, excellent coworkers. And there are times where I've thought to myself, I can't do this. It is way too hard. This is way above my like skill level.
Yeah.
And then I remember the hours I spent at the coffee shop writing this damn thesis and
It's
all
your
the papers.
It's your 5-year goal now.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. I told myself when I started, I'd give it 2 years, but yeah, I mean, I think that even like a 2-year goal like that, like I can do it, even if it's hard, even if I suck, even if it's hard at first.
You can fail for a while.
Yeah.
You can learn and grow.
And I
find your way.
And I know that if I put my mind on something for a few years, like I can finish it.
You can finish it.
And so I'm very excited to be in the position where I have this job where like it's really limitless. Like it's a commission-based job, and I've never been in a position in my life where I feel like I had like something to grab onto to pull myself out of poverty. Like I've never made more than like $30,000 a year. Yeah. And like by most standards, that would be below the poverty line. Probably way less than that actually I've made. And so, yeah, this is the first time in my life I've had the opportunity to like climb and like work for myself. And like, if I can put in half as much work as I did on my thesis as I do on this into this job, then I think I'd be wildly successful.
And you kind of control it. You've got the autonomy. You've got that sovereignty.
Yeah.
You just lean into your king.
Yeah.
Where's your relationship with psychedelics? Where's your enthusiasm, or what role does it play in your life now?
Yeah, I'm definitely a lot more reserved. I don't do them as often. I like to do LSD about once a year, which I guess I technically haven't done this year. But yeah, I like to do them about once a year to like kind of give me some perspective, because I feel like I can get distracted and lose my way and lose my sense of meaning and purpose. And so it's a good way for me to check in. But I feel like they can be so disruptive that I feel hesitant to use them when I have a good thing going. Like right now, I think it would be detrimental for me to use a psychedelic because I'm focused. And I feel like it could maybe give me a perspective that isn't good for my goal.
That neuroplasticity is not always what you want. Yeah. You're like, I like where my brain is now.
Yeah. And when I was younger, it was great to like have my brain just keep on opening, because I grew up in such a chaotic household that had me be closed off. But now I've like got a good sense of who I am and everything, and like I feel more trust with myself than ever before, and I feel more mature than I've ever been, and I feel like now I want to use them more therapeutically if I am going to use them, or just like not as often and not as high dose. And so, yeah, like I'm not taking more than a hit of LSD if I'm going to a music festival, and I'm not smoking before I go do a lot of social things. Well, sometimes I am, but I'm not like taking like I don't take mushrooms unless it's like to me, mushrooms are a sacrament. Like as such, the appropriate context doesn't arise as often. Right. And so I don't use them as much. But yeah, like I think Terrence McKenna once said, once you get the message, hang up the phone.
Yeah, I was thinking of that just then.
Yeah.
Like, how do you know when? It's like, well, when you're like calling, you're wanting some information. Once you get that message. Yeah. What an exciting journey. I contemplate a little bit how to continue a conversation about failure at psychedelics, and I imagine it'll either reveal itself or it won't. And this is such a wonderful time. I think I learned a lot of stuff about you that I didn't know.
Like what?
Yeah. The ADHD stuff. I didn't know that you had that type of childhood.
Yeah.
That it was so similar to mine.
Yeah, and I didn't know that about you either.
Yeah.
I could have suspected, though. I think maybe we both could have suspected.
The thing that I explore in the show a lot is neurodivergence, which I didn't realize that you had that neurodivergence, that ADHD, that OCD, that Tourette's, and then transformation, which is, I think psychedelics are a transformative experience. And so is Mankind Project. And so are all these. There's a lot of, in my life as a seeker, I've sought transformation. I've sought mentorship. I've sought all that type of stuff. And then the third one is kind of family origin story. What's it like being a dad? I think a lot about how I can be the best dad, be the best creator of an environment for young people. And so I like exploring that. And then the fourth one is psychology or philosophy, spirituality, and mysticism. So there's like all those boxes are ticked in this discussion. So I'm like, I'm happy.
I really enjoyed your curiosity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel complete?
No, because I think your curiosity like led me to some corners of my mind that like I haven't explored in a long time. So I feel complete in this like conversation. Like I feel like I could like maybe wrap it up better or, or maybe put a better bow on it or something. But
what areas do you feel are kind of opening? I mean, we're coming to the end, but just if we give some folks this cliffhanger, the areas of Samuel's mind that have been unlocked.
I just have so many stories I want to tell. And like things that when I share them, I think often I'm sharing a story with someone because I'm wanting them to understand me, but they're just hearing the content of the conversation. And I think what you just did here was you asked me stories, but not because you wanted to hear the stories, but because you wanted to get to know me through the stories. Does that sound?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I think that it's not super often for me to be sharing a story with someone who is going to ask deepening questions and like really try to know me through it. And I think sometimes I try to tell captivating stories so that people will learn about me, but that's like a byproduct of like the captivating story. Like I hook their attention, but really it's because like I'm trying to use them as a reflection to learn more about myself. Yeah. And so maybe that's why I talk a lot and tell a lot of stories, is because I'm constantly being curious about why I am the way I am and what made me how I am.
Yeah.
So that I can act differently so everyone likes me.
That's a great segue.
Yeah.